Welcome to Epic Recovery, where we embark on the transformative journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Join us as we unlock the secrets to genuine recovery, embracing our infinite possibilities, and forging an extraordinary life filled with purpose and profound meaning. Epic Recovery starts now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Epic Recovery. I've talked about this multiple times, moved here to San Diego, coming up on my 2-month anniversary here. And it blows me away. Like all the gifts that keep coming into my life, in my personal life, in my business life, in so many areas. And it's hard to keep track of all the amazing things that keep happening. New friends, people that I'm meeting, restaurants that I'm discovering, things to do in this city. It's just blowing me away. And this is one of the gifts of recovery. I've watched a lot of people who are sober and, they still struggle with so many things in their life. And it's sad for me to watch because I want to shake them and say, don't you see that if you really embrace the darkness that's within you and look inside and confront your fears, confront your anger, confront the trauma that led you to be where you are today. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it brings up a lot of anger and other feelings. But man, once you clear it away, I remember the days when I used to think, man, if I start crying, I'm never going to stop. And you know what? I did. I cried for a long time. And the sadness was, little 7-year-old Randy was so sad, and 5-year-old Randy, and up to 12-year-old, middle school was so difficult because part of my issue is that I have ADD, but I wasn't diagnosed until I was 50 years old. Because back when I was growing up, it just wasn't diagnosed. So what I kept hearing all through middle school and high school was, what's wrong with you? You're so smart. Why can't you just get your work done? Just sit down and do your work. And I remember thinking, I don't know how to do that. It doesn't work for me. I sit down to do my work and like my brain is static. It's like, and it's almost impossible to really focus. Now, I've met people who have ADD and they're able to get work done and feel motivated and overcome that. And maybe there's like a spectrum of ADD, just like there is with other things like depression, anxiety, autism, different things. There might be a spectrum with ADD, and man, I am at the far reaches, severe case of ADD. And unless I'm medicated, whenever I'm going to do this episode, I make sure that I do my ADD meds like an hour before I do this so that I can focus and concentrate. And you know this, if you've listened to my episodes before, I'm still all over the place. My mind races all the time. And it used to be really frustrating for me, but most of the time it's not anymore because I've just accepted that this is a part of who I am. It's just part of me. And I love it for what it is. I accept it. I acknowledge it. I kind of feel like a puppy sometimes. My brain is like puppy brain. And it's like, ooh, what's that over there? Oh, let's go over there. Oh, wait, I'm talking about this over here. Oh, okay, let me stay here. Or I'll be having a conversation with someone and I'll see something out of the side of and it bugs me. It's like, I know I need to keep eye contact because I want this person to think I'm listening, but oh my God, what is that over there? Whoa, yeah, yeah, okay. And I might, and I've done this before, it's like I'll move a little bit so that I have better eye contact with what it is I want to see. Oh, I'm so distractible. And that's why, especially in my business, I find people to help me that are good at keeping lists. And they also have learned to just laugh at my ADD, like, oh, Randy, I sent you that email a week ago. Can you please take a look at it? I'm like, oh, geez, sorry. And it's just part of who I am. And the friends in my life just accept it. And most of them laugh. My family members have a more difficult time with it. And they still want me to change and they want me to conform and be how they want me to be. And it's like, that's just not me. And that's kind of an issue for me right now is how to navigate that. But I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing my best to be patient, tolerant, understanding. But sometimes it's difficult. But for the most part, I just accept me for who I am. And when I do that, life is a lot better. And the gifts just keep on coming. There are some things that are in the works right now that I'm not allowed to talk about. My team is like, Randy, don't talk about these yet. We're not ready to unpack it. We have some things that need to happen first before we put these things out there. So I'm not allowed to tell you, which is kind of funny. This is back to 7-year-old Randy. It's like, I have a secret, but I can't tell anybody. So it's pretty funny that that's what's going on right now. But you know what? If you shoot me an email, randy@randyhaveson.com, and say, hey, whatever these things are that you have coming up, I'd love to know about them. And I'll put you on the email list. And as we release them, you'll be one of the first people to know. Let's go back to the gifts of recovery. The beautiful gift that I've received is that I leave myself alone. I used to be so self-critical over everything that I did. Nothing was ever good enough. All those not good enoughs that I heard from teachers and parents, people earlier in my life that made me feel like I had no self-worth. I had no self-esteem. I would put on an act and a mask for everybody to be who you wanted me to be, because I knew if you really saw who I was, you weren't going to like me because of all the criticism that I had before. So I put on the mask and I was everything you wanted me to be. I was funny. I was the life of the party. I was, all the things that I needed to be. And I was like a chameleon, depending on which situation I was in. When I was with my family at an event, I knew how to dress well and be in that situation, or go to a nice restaurant. Don't put your elbows on the table here. Or I'd go to a casual restaurant. Yeah, you can put your elbows on the table here and you can be dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. And whatever the situation was, I was the chameleon and I fit in. One of the things I realized in my recovery is that I had changed my colors as a chameleon so many times that I forgot what my real color was. When I entered recovery and started exploring who I was, I had no idea, because I had all these different masks that I would wear depending on whatever the situation was. So I didn't know who the real Randy was. The cool part was it was whoever I wanted it to be. And I realized that I wanted patience and tolerance and understanding and accepting people for who they were. And if they were different from me, I didn't have to immediately shut that out. I used to be misogynistic, ooh, look at that chick. Ooh, I could really get into that. And I realize now, oh, how demeaning. And when I hear people say, ooh, look at that chick, when I hear that now, it's like, that is not a baby chicken. That is a human being. And that person deserves respect and not to be talked to that way. And I stand up for people now. But in my sobriety days and in my using days, I was horrible. I thought that my worth depended on how many girlfriends I had, how many women I was sleeping with, how many beers I could drink in one sitting, how many shots I could do, how many different drugs I could do in an evening. That's how I judged who I was. And that's what I wanted people to see. And you know what? It was killing me. And even in sobriety, I never sexually assaulted someone. I'm very proud of that, because I know a lot of guys that had to make amends for those situations. And I never did that. I was accused once, but I realized that, she had some pretty severe issues. And I actually talked to her and I said, do you remember when you said no? And I said, okay. And I stopped and I talked to you. It's like, are you okay? Can I help you out in any way? And you just sat there, cried, and it's like, do you want me to give you a hug? And you said no, and I was okay with that. Do you remember any of that? And she said, yeah, you know what? I do. I'm like, whew, okay. So that was something I never did, but there were things that I wasn't proud of and things that I did need to make amends for, and the way that I treated people and the way that I talked to people. And I'm not like that anymore. And today I accept you for who you are, no matter what. I'm a huge ally of the LGBTQ plus community. And I hear people talk about, you know, those people are wrong, and those people, anytime it's those people, it's a negative, and it's a distancing between you and others. In recovery, we're all one. We are part of this great multicosm. And when I tap into that, that is one of the gifts of recovery too, because the gifts are in there. The gifts aren't from the outside in. The gifts come when you're on the inside, realizing everybody is a cell of the same body. You might be a cell in the big toe, but that doesn't negate the cells that are in the index finger. We're all still part of the same body. That's why, this division that we have right now. And, my perspective is there's this perspective of greed and contempt and negativity, and the world's coming to an end unless we win. And if we don't win, it's rigged. And if we win, it was real. And I don't want to operate that way. It's kind of like being at a football game and your team doesn't win. And the coach of the team is like, it was rigged. The officials didn't do it. We didn't really lose. We won the game. And it's like, no, the officials saw the replay. And actually, there was a convention of officials, and there were 60 officials who looked at the replay. And every single one of them agreed that you did not win the game. The other team won the game. Not 58 out of 60 or 46 out of 60. 60 out of 60 said, no, it was not rigged. No, you did not win the game. You lost. What would you say if someone still said, no, we won the game? It's like, dude, come on, you lost. And part of recovery is accepting our failures. And I have had plenty of failures in my recovery. And some were more difficult to get over than others. Some were really difficult to get over. And it took me months, sometimes years. There was one in particular, it took me years to get over. And still, as I think about it, it kind of stings a little bit. So there's still a piece there. But I've learned how to move beyond it and to not let it continue to weigh me down. Because the gift of recovery, and one of my favorite promises of the 12-step program, you are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. And the cool part in recovery, that keeps happening at different levels. Like the happiness that I'm attaining, the peace, the freedom, man, the freedom that I have today to live my life any way that I want to live it. And I don't do it at the expense of others. I don't push anyone down in order to make myself feel better. It doesn't happen because I realize we're all doing the best we can with the tools that we have. And a lot of us have a whole set of tools. I remember when I was doing the recovery house that I used to run, the sober living place, one of the things I would tell the residents, and I tell people in early sobriety, recovery gives you a complete buffet table of tools and options and things to enjoy. Why just nibble off of one corner when you have the entire buffet table to choose from? But I watch a lot of people in sobriety. It's like, no, I'm just going to stick to this little part here. It's like, okay, dude, fine. That's more for the rest of us. But once you embrace recovery, the entire table opens up. Man, it is a feast unlike anything you know. And for those of you in recovery, and this is kind of, you listen to this or watch this because it's a reaffirmation of what you already know. The feast is amazing. We can gorge ourselves. physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and it's never ending. There's this old joke um, about the alcoholic who was walking along the beach, and all of a sudden they looked down, there was a bottle, and he rubbed the bottle, and a genie came out. And the genie said, "Thank you for freeing me from the bottle. I am here to grant you 3 wishes. What would you like?" And the alcoholic says, I like a bottle of whiskey that never empties. And the genie said, "Here you go." And the alcoholic took the bottle and drank half of it in one gulp and looked at it, and it went whoop and filled back up. He went, "Wow." And he took another big swig and drank half of it, and it filled back up. And the genie said, "There's your first wish. You have 2 more wishes. What would you like?" And the alcoholic said, "I'll take 2 more of these." Yeah, I know. When I first heard that, I cracked up. But see, recovery is the same way. And you have that bottle of gifts and joy and freedom and happiness. It's all in one bottle. It's the most incredible mixed drink you're ever going to have. And you can have as much as you want. Take that swig, drink half the bottle, and it fills back up. And here's the cool part about it. Here's what happens. First, you get a cup. Here's how recovery works. You do the work, and you get this little cup of freedom and happiness. And you drink it, and it fills back up. And you're like, whoa. And then you start to realize that the more work I do and the more gratitude I have, the cup gets bigger. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And until it becomes a keg. And then it becomes like a hot tub. I mean, the pool that I'm swimming in of gifts, of recovery, and it keeps getting better and it keeps getting bigger. I start my day, every day, on my knees, talking to the universe, saying, "Thank you for the gift of another day. Show me what I can do to be of service today. And please help keep me out of my own way." And those are the things that I focus on. First thing in the morning, that's what I tell myself. And I get up and I have my day. And today I woke up, I'm like, I get to do my podcast episodes today, my YouTube shows. I always get excited when I get to do these because I love it. And my view is, I still to this day don't know if anyone's watching these. I don't know. I'm hoping. I still haven't had any comments or emails or anything from people who are watching. But the thing is, I'm thinking one day somebody will. And that person will get something out of this. So that's pretty exciting for me. And that's why I do this. Being of service means I do it for the act of giving, not to see how many people is this going to reach? What is it going to happen? And is it? No, because then it starts getting into ego. And, my philosophy is if even one person gets something out of this 5 years from now, it was worth doing this. So that's kind of my philosophy. I'm just putting it out there. And all I can do is share my experience, my strength, and my hope with the people that are out there to let you know that if you grasp these concepts of recovery and not just being sober, you will know freedom and happiness at levels you had no idea you could achieve. People ask me all the time, "Are you happy all the time?" Oh my God, every time I see you, you're so happy. And it's always the same answer. It's like, not all the time. No. I probably have about 10 bad days a year, 10 days where I'm sad, I'm despondent, maybe angry, frustrated. And I just wake up just feeling, ugh. It's like that Five Finger Death Punch song, a little bit off. And I just feel a little bit off. And on those days, I don't put on a smile to people just to be happy. I've done the mask thing. I don't do that anymore. And people are like, "Hey, Randy, how you doing today?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm having an off day today." And some people are like, "Oh my God, you?" I'm like, "Yeah, me. I'm allowed to have an off day." My friends are like, "Oh, do you want to talk about it?" And sometimes I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. Well, do you want to get together or you want to just talk?" I'm like, "No, I can just talk. I appreciate that." And sometimes I will write in my journal. I'm starting to do that again. I hadn't written in my journal in a long time, and I did it for the first time this last week. And man, it felt good. Ah, and I know a new level of freedom and happiness because this stuff that's swirling around in my head gets to come out on paper and then I get to see it. And what started is expressing frustrations and disappointments and sadness ended with a line of hope. And that's what it's about. When I get this stuff out of my head, when it's not swirling around there anymore, and I put it out there, it loses its power. And yesterday, I had a good day. I had a really good day. I had some moments that were a real bummer, but for the most part, I had a really good day. And today, having an awesome day. Oh my God, what a day I'm having. This is just one part of it, doing this. Then, after I do this, I have an appointment that is leading up to one of these things that I'm not allowed to talk about yet, but another gift of recovery. So, man, I just so want you guys to grasp this, to know, and I say this at meetings sometimes when I go, if you could see from behind my eyes for 30 seconds, you never drink or use again. And am I never going to drink or use again? I don't know. But you know what? I'm not drinking or using today. My addict side is like, maybe I'll smoke a little weed or have some mushrooms a year from now. Maybe. But today, nope, not a chance. I have too much to do, too much going on. I'm too happy. Why would I mess up being this happy just to do something weird like get high? I'm not doing that. No way. So embrace all parts of who you are. Accept, acknowledge, and be grateful for the gifts when they come in, and more will come your way. It's, for the next week, until you come back here next week, start your day with 3 things you have to be grateful for. And see what happens throughout your day. See what happens. So, thank you for tuning in. I so appreciate you being here. I hope there are people there. And if you are, you keep going, man. This road is phenomenal. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully I'll see you here next week. And until then, take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on Epic Recovery. Remember, every obstacle you overcome is a testament to your heroic spirit. Conquer your fears, unlock your potential, and write the epic tale of your life's journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep striving for the extraordinary.